Welcome to the 5 Hard Podcast live on a Thursday night, 9 o'clock Central. Other time zones not nearly as important. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, X. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko. We're going to do this left to right. Greg Mahochko, Minnie Hunt, and all the way down there on the end, Mr. Aaron Rostovsky. Minnie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Wonderful.
Got my baseball gear on.
Gosh, I don't have a baseball
Talking to the baseball guy.
And Aaron, you're the baseball guy.
I am the baseball guy.
Did you know that?
I've heard rumors.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome back to the 5 Hard Show, sir.
I appreciate
Welcome back to Nebraska. When did you get
Yeah.
back?
You had to go to
Nice.
Texas, and we're sorry about that.
it. Nice cold and snowy Nebraska compared to what I left.
You did. We're just gonna jump right into it because we're talking about it, and Aaron is the inspiration for all of us wearing our Nebraska headgear tonight. Easy, Justin Raji. But you did go to Texas last weekend for some Nebraska baseball. Remind me again. All Minnie said is he went to baseball land, and I'm like, I don't think that's a real place. Where in Texas did you go for the baseball games?
We went to Frisco for the Frisco Classic. It's the third time Nebraska's been there. It's in a pretty sweet little, I think it's a AA stadium, if I remember right. I should have brought my hat. I got a sweet hat. Their logo, they're the Rough Riders. They have a cool logo of it looks like Herbie Husker hitting a home run, but it's a Teddy Roosevelt hitting a home run is one of the logos they have there. So I picked up one of those hats.
Question.
But yeah, one of the more fun little kind of early season tournaments that I've been to.
Is it true that Hardee's or Carl's Jr., depending on what region of the country you live in, the Frisco burger originates or is named after Frisco, Texas, and not San Francisco, California?
Usually I am all up on that kind of stuff, but I don't know the answer to that question. It might require something that I don't know if I'm allowed to say on the show.
You can say it. Say it once.
Can you greggle that for me, please?
Ba-ba! Yes, I will. Talk amongst yourselves.
You guys, seriously.
But yeah, it was a real good combination of teams there. There's obviously now number one ranked LSU was there with the first sellout that place had ever had for this little showdown.
Oh.
I think it was like 10,800 people were there for the Nebraska versus LSU game on Saturday night. It was quite the packed house. It was loud. I'm thankful the Husker fans didn't try to outdo the LSU fans in their chants because that would have not been pretty. Luckily, they kept our own little "Go Big Red" every once in a while chants, and then even when we were up 5-0, we weren't too in their face, which is good because it was only a matter of time before the sleeping giant woke up.
So
crazy.
was
atmosphere.
LSU a little obnoxious? Is that why?
They've got the rowdiest bunch of fans in college baseball. I started out my college baseball fandom as a Miami baseball fan, so I grew into Nebraska after our dad went there because my dad played baseball with his dad up in North Dakota. So I really don't like LSU because I think it was 96, they hit this little pipsqueak guy hit a home run to win the College World Series for Miami, and I've hated them ever since. You hold on to things like that for how many years is it now? 30?
For a lifetime. Hey,
It's
Aaron, you're having some internet issues.
Well, darn.
I know.
while Aaron gets those internet issues squared away, we have a dun-dun Greggle update. Bum-bum.
We should have a
Coming
news
soon.
update as well.
An official audio version of that. Yes, the Frisco Burger at Hardee's is named after the city of Frisco, Texas. Hardee's also offers a Frisco breakfast sandwich and a double Frisco burger. Now, on that Frisco sandwich, it's a 1/4 pound Angus beef patty, cherry wood smoked bacon, Swiss cheese, tomatoes, mayonnaise on a toasted sourdough bread. Minnie, would you like to take a guess at what's on the Frisco breakfast sandwich?
Would it be a sausage patty?
It would not be.
Okay.
It would be thinly sliced ham with an egg,
Oh.
American and Swiss cheese, and on a toasted sourdough bread. That comes with hash browns and a beverage. So,
Well, I like that they use sourdough
well, yeah, sourdough.
because, as Fred points out, all of that stuff, diabetes, ? Sourdough, though, I know you can eat even if you have diabetes. So,
I did not know that.
yes, you should.
I should?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm joking. That was a joke.
I'm going to
Just
retire
for
early
future
tonight.
reference. For future reference.
For
Okay.
for future Greg's diabetes. So I did remind BFOTS Josh Hansen that the show is tonight, and he says I'll be there, but a few late. Shocker. So I think right now we're just going to hit pause on the show, and we're just going to wait for Josh to get here.
No.
Okay. I was
Why
kidding.
don't you fill it? Okay. Before we begin, Aaron, thank you for coming, because I reached out to you early this week and asked for updates on baseball, and you were out of town, and you were kind enough to say, okay, I'm back. I can come on. But Greg, will you please update people with what has been going on with you?
Oh, sure. That's what everybody needs is more of my, bad news in my life. Yay.
I think people want to know.
Okay. People want to know.
And also, it might seem like, guys, it might seem like Greg has a gray cloud following him around lately. So maybe we need to help him a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Aaron.
never get those.
Do you have a Mac?
Yeah, I'm on a big iMac right now.
Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you then.
Angry face.
No, sorry. I'm not on a Mac, so I'm not even going to bother trying. Yeah, so yesterday my workday had completed. I had driven by my house, and I pulled over, and I said, shameful, Frederick. I had, so when I moved, I amended my Spectrum services. And so I had an old modem that needed to get taken back so I get the $59, whatever, off my bill. And I went to take it up there yesterday and before my work day, and they said it was a 2-hour wait. I was like, a 2-hour wait to drop off this equipment? That's horseshit. Like, well, if you want a receipt or confirmation that you dropped it off, it's a 2-hour wait, because it's all mobile, whatever. I was like, I'll come back. So I had gotten to my house. It was 5:15, let's say. And I pulled over, looked at my phone. Oh, Charter store, Spectrum store is open until 8. I'll just go down there right now. Certainly it can't be a 2-hour wait. I'm on the way there. And on the way there, I'm heading eastbound on the road. The light turns yellow. My rate of speed and the distance to the intersection, I don't really have time to slam on my brakes. Plus, there's a line of cars behind me. I don't want the domino effect. So I just started cruising through the intersection, and I hit the intersection, and a car which was traveling westbound turned right in front of me, and I T-boned said vehicle. Airbag deployment. The other vehicle ended up with its driver's side wheels on the ground, the front front passenger side wheel in the air, and the rear passenger wheel was on the hood of my vehicle. At a 45-degree angle, that is where said vehicle stopped. So I'm okay. I want to definitely preface that. I got a few bruises from, I don't know, airbag or hitting the steering wheel or something, but I walked out, I walked away. I'm good. But that's how my night ended last night. And I spend most of today dealing with insurance, going to the tow lot, getting stuff out of my vehicle. Insurance is great. I'll say this. I've I have not been in a wreck probably since I lived up in Shadron. But the vehicle, my van was totaled out, and the good news is I see Carl's comment there. To the best of my knowledge, the other driver, while he I think might have been a little bit older, he was taken to the hospital, but no serious injuries or anything like that. So I've always said things can be replaced, people can't. Looking over the traffic, or the accident report, things like that, they do indicate that, I guess from the silver lining of the fact that I'm not at fault because he did not yield the right of way. So it's just been a fun 24 hours, but I'm excited to be here. Yes.
Did you ever get your equipment back to Spectrum?
No, it's in my garage. Yeah, no,
Poor
it's in my
Greg.
garage.
What happens if it's not returned?
I mean,
Do you just
eventually
have to buy it?
No, I guess they just tack on another $59.99 or whatever every billing cycle until it's returned.
Could you imagine if it was damaged in the car accident or lost?
No.
You'd be paying for that for eternity.
I think
this
at
is
some point,
this is a good thing.
Right. No, I think at some point, I'd say, hey, yeah, so that got damaged. Here's the situation. Maybe if you didn't have a 2-hour wait just to drop off equipment, this could have been.
Yeah, maybe you should go after them. This is your guys' fault. I wouldn't even have been on the road.
Yeah. Maybe not have a 2-hour. And that's the thing is, when I went there yesterday, kind of at the start of my day, there's no couple that are like, we've already been here X amount of time. And they're like, you better not be able to just jump in front of us. That'd be bullshit. I'm like, I'm just dropping stuff off. Like, well, if you want a receipt, you're going to have to wait. So I didn't have time to wait even 5 minutes just to talk to, a Spectrum associate or whatever. I was like, I'll come back, and I haven't made it back yet, but but all in all, everything's good. I've got a temporary vehicle, and then I'll have another temporary vehicle, and then I'll have a newer vehicle. So claimed
good.
It's all settlement is. They're going to give me about double what I owe on it. So I'll have something for a down payment on the next go around. So
very good. Okay, good. Well, okay. So the gray cloud may be lifting.
I don't know. Too early to tell.
Fingers crossed.
I cross my pinkies.
I don't think it works if you do it. We all have to do it for you.
Okay. All right, everybody.
And a 1 and a 2.
Greg.
Yes.
I'm glad you're okay though.
Thank you.
We all are. Yeah.
I went back to work this afternoon and evening, so all's good. Yes, Fred, how'd you guess? The pink Mazda Miata.
Wow.
Have you ever ridden in one of those?
No, all I know is I put groceries in them back in the day, and I'm good.
I tell you, it sucks when the windshield on the car comes to here in a convertible.
Right?
Not fun. I drove to Lincoln like this one time with my friend that was a doctor.
Oh my gosh.
He was much shorter than me.
It's funny. Well, okay. Do we want to go ahead and just jump into baseball, or do we want to talk about the big news that broke today? I'm okay with either. You guys tell me.
I don't know the big news, so I'm going with baseball.
Okay. Baseball. Tell us everything. Didn't we lose to, when we were supposed to win?
That's the story of our life.
Well, to be honest, it was probably Sam Houston was the first team we played, and they're had for the past few years been pretty good. They are not good this year at all. And so unfortunately, we were cruising along pretty well, and then Mason McConaughey threw ball two to a guy and just kind of slammed his glove into his leg and walked off the mound real slowly and waited for the trainers to come on. And it was, I think that's like the 5th or 6th Husker pitcher I've been to into the game where they've blown out their arm, and yeah, it's no fun every time. It really sucks the life out of the team, out of the stadium, especially when it's your number one dude like this. And so Sam Houston kind of came back because we were obviously just all over the place emotionally and trying to figure out what to do now that our ace is gone. We got to redo our whole pitching staff for the rest of the weekend, kind of. And so they came back, tied it up. Luckily, we went to Mr. Emotionless. Will Walsh came in and onto the mound and got us right back to where we were. No game is too big for him. No moment's too big. So luckily he got us back there, and we picked up that win because next game was versus number 1 ranked LSU, and we got out to the 5-0 lead, but no one was kidding themselves that LSU was not gonna show back up, and it just takes a couple of things going the wrong direction to start that ball rolling downhill, and man, their offense can get going at the drop of a hat, and I think it was 11 runs they ended up putting up on us by the end of that game on our bullpen. But
oh my gosh, 11?
Yeah, they've got one guy that I think he's like 6'5", 250 pounds, and is on like the number 4 or 5 on their like season home run list, which is really saying something to LSU with the teams they had back in the 90s with the bats that were totally juiced, and they were launching out like 500-foot home runs off those bats. Those things were nuts. But
what do you mean, bats that were juiced?
So this back in, I think it was 1997, before that they had these bats where you could have what they called -5. So the length of the bat could be 5 ounces or 5 inches longer than the bat is in ounces. So you had these huge bats, and the barrels were like 2 3/4 inches versus 2 1/4 inch. So they were huge barrels, really long bats, just like clubs. And these guys were LSU back in the day had like 4 or 5 guys that were 240 pounds just taking those balls, and just when we're up in Rosenblatt Stadium, it wasn't just over the wall, it was out of the whole stadium, rolling down the giant hill in that stadium.
Jerks.
And so in 1997, there was the championship game was USC won 21 to Arizona State had 14, and they're like, oh, okay, that's about enough of that. And so
when you said
the
juice,
bats had to be heavier and smaller, and I think we're on about now the 5th drop down in weight and size and bats, and so a lot less springy than they used to be. But this guy's putting up numbers like the bats of my youth.
I thought you were going to talk about the steroids in the game back in the 90s.
Yes, me too. That's exactly what I thought.
Well, I mean, combine that with the bats, and those baseballs never stood a chance.
Like James Boardman says, it was Dingerville.
Yes, sir.
Fred wants to know, though, how's that relate to the sag of the bag and the meat of the heat of the meat?
I was never good at Dr. Seuss. Every once in a while I can get going in the rhythm of that, but
you have young kids. You better get good.
I do. We never do a whole lot of Dr. Seuss. I don't even know.
Really?
We have the That's Not My Lamb was what we read tonight. Because it's
That's not my lamb?
too lowly. My lamb.
It's never too late for Dr. Seuss. All right, so we're going to remove Minnie. Minnie needs to go get a beverage for the show. So that's a convenient way. She didn't know how to excuse herself, so I just kicked her off for a minute. I've got my beverage. I don't think we need to guess what. You know what? There's been big changes in Illinois since the last time we got together, Mr. Rostovsky. And that is the fact that this beautiful, beautiful beverage right here is now available all across the land of Lincoln.
I'm feeling it's baseball season, so it's almost like summer, so we're going with a margarita.
Right on, brother. So it was available first on draft. And as of this past Monday, you can get it in grocery stores and convenience stores. Wherever you need to find Yingling, they've got you.
Fantastic.
Cheers to you, sir. Thank you for coming in here and talking a little bit about baseball. So I haven't watched any baseball yet. I'm a bad fan. I take it back. Let me rephrase. I watched just enough. It's kind of like watching men's basketball. You watch it, and then things take their inevitable turn. They turn off because you're sad. How do you keep doing it, Aaron?
Oh, the early season's rough, but you can't get discouraged. I saw a stat where, because I think we're sitting, gosh, I didn't even write it down. We're sitting like 4-6 right now, I believe. I saw a stat of in the Big Ten era, all the Husker teams that went on to play in a regional in the NCAA tournament. Their record was a combined like 30-31. So these are the best teams Nebraska's had in the past decade. And even they were never, as a collective, over 500 in the early February and early March runs. So
you're absolutely right.
You can't get discouraged by going down south and getting beat up by the southern teams. So just got to hope and pray that this new Big Ten is something that we can, even with the decreased amount of pitchers that we've got with guys getting hit in the face and blowing out their arms, that we can still field a pretty good pitching staff.
Did you see? Was it John Boy Media? Right? They tend to do like a lot of really good baseball breakdowns, and they did the breakdown of I can't even remember his name. Poor kid.
Tucker Timmerman.
Tucker Timmerman.
Yep.
Yeah, they did a video of that. That dude, took that baseball to the face like a champ. Held the game. I think actually, the ball bounced off his face to the first baseman. They got the 1-3 put out, which I believe ended the inning.
Yes.
But that didn't end the game, right?
No.
No.
But he, by all accounts, everyone that I've talked to that knew a little bit of him in high school said he's about the toughest dude they've seen. Played safety and linebacker in high school, and yeah, there's not a tougher guy.
All right, well, let us bring back our esteemed co-host.
Hello. Thank you.
Fred says,
Hello.
Tucker Timmerman, better or it'll flop out.
But I'm ding.
Waiting for a minute
My
to try.
God. What?
I was waiting for you to try to figure it out.
Well, I was reading TSD's comment, unfortunately. Okay. Sorry.
That's
I get
okay.
caught up with comments from them. It's their fault.
So Nebraska hasn't, they've had 2 games this week. Weather and other factors playing into cancellation and a postponement.
Yeah.
They last night they were supposed to have their first home game of the season. That got canceled. On Tuesday they were supposed to play up at UNO. That got postponed. Give us the pulse. What's going on weather-wise in eastern Nebraska?
Well, so this is with it, all those new teams coming in. It's a whole brand new Big Ten. So not only has the teams changed, the way that they're going to do the tournament changed. We are now doing 10 league conference series instead of the normal 8 that we had done, which is what most of the other conferences, aka the SEC, are doing. So with that comes playing league title or league series earlier in the year, such as, March 7th. What happens when you schedule league games on March 7th? They get postponed due to weather and cold. So we are doing a doubleheader on March 8th now, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, there's a reason. I get why they want to do it, to get the league's branding up to what the rest of the country's doing, but, they got to – I would love to see USC, UCLA here on March 8th as much as the next person, but still, it's not all that smart. We got to figure out scheduling to get these Iowa, Nebraska, not Wisconsin because they're a bunch of schmucks that don't have a baseball team, but all the teams like that, we need to figure out a way to get them in more hospitable environments for these early league series.
Question. You may have the answer, you may not. Obviously, Wisconsin, you mentioned, does not have baseball, but they have hockey. What's the roster size comparatively, if you know, and if you don't know, that's fine, between baseball and hockey? I was thinking like Title IX and how the numbers have to be, relatively comparable.
Baseball, I forget where I think they're at 40 still. If not, they've cut down. Their eventual cut down is like 34 full-on scholarship guys is their goal. And then hockey, I think you've got like 3, 6, somewhere around like 25, if I remember right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure what their initial reasoning for not having baseball was. I forget. I read somewhere where they cut it as a sport. I don't remember if it was Title IX related or not.
Carl, not wrong. Nebraska does have a hockey team. We do. It's club hockey. So it doesn't count against the, they also don't get nearly the funding. Years ago, we had Reed Fuller on, who at the time was a player for the Nebraska club hockey team, and they were going to the national tournament. And I think now he's the coach over there for your Nebraska Cornhusker Hockey Club. So yeah, very big supporter of. Every year they have special, sweaters that they wear for military appreciation or classic throwbacks. I always say I need one of those, and they never send me one. So.
Hey,
yes, Minnie.
This is what I do because I don't know if you guys realize this. I'm sure you do. I have a little problem called ADHD. I try to hide it. I try to mask it. It comes out a lot. But as I'm sitting here, I always am writing notes because I have to, rather than just blurt it out and interrupt Greg all the time. Does anyone realize that as you are now anyone who is a member, right? Is it a member? We have new emojis. Have you seen those?
I haven't seen those.
Well, we have a couple of members in the chat. BFOTS Josh Hansen and TSD. So I'm wondering if they have seen those. I don't know if anyone else. James Boardman also. Just for fun, I put some emojis in there.
James used
but
one.
We can't. Yes, we can't
James
see
used 5,
them. Darn it. Yeah, we can't see them. Darn it. Why doesn't it show up on ours?
Because we're not on YouTube.
Oh, that's why. So they are, yeah. It's fun because there's a picture of John, there's a picture of me, there's a picture of Greg, and there's a picture of Cubby. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah, no. Even when you highlight the comment, it on YouTube it still shows the text. But this is gonna be. I don't know how. So they're there. They're all there.
Yes. So I thought that would be just fun, something different for you guys that have actually, I'm a member too, so it's just fun. When hopefully Andy and his daughter will start a softball show again, and I can't wait to use them, the emojis in chat.
Speaking of Andy, I got to hang out with Andy and Todd tonight. We picked up our credentials for the year, or Andy did, so we met and had some dinner and a drink and conversed about the various times in sports. Doing great. Andy's excited. He's excited to go back out and cover this good softball team that's hitting dingers and shutting out people all over the place.
Jordy Ball is back.
Yes.
Yeah. And I heard Andy on the press conference from Tuesday.
Yep, he asked a couple questions. He said on.
I didn't even recognize. I didn't recognize his voice though. It was weird. It was like somebody else. I'm like, that's Andy. But then I rewound it, and I'm like, okay, that does sound like him a little. It's almost like they made the voices sound more like Greg's voice.
Is that good, bad, or somewhere in between?
See that right there. Is it good, bad, or somewhere between? Just deeper.
That's right, Minnie. Let's go to the eye in the sky for the traffic report.
Yeah, he did. He introduced himself before the question. But it didn't sound like Andy, did it? I'm telling you, it didn't.
Was somebody using his credentials?
No, it sounded like somebody with a very deep voice. Andy doesn't have that normally.
Yeah, and with the new coaches wanted everyone to introduce themselves, and I haven't watched it yet, but apparently the D-line coach is kind of like the dude from Animal House, like, damn glad to meet you, like every time anyone said their name from like the media.
He's jumping out. He was so cool.
Eric Stratford.
Oh my gosh.
Rush chair. Damn glad to meet you. Minnie, have you ever seen the movie Animal House?
No. Writing it down.
Man.
Another.
Yikes.
I've heard all kinds of references throughout the years.
I don't say many things are must watch, but that is a must watch.
I mean, it's got young Kevin Bacon.
Ooh.
It's got John Belushi.
Oh, okay.
It's got other people.
Okay. Why do I need to watch it?
It's a classic.
It's got a horse.
It's got a horse.
Can you just sum it up for me? Would that be?
Nope. It's think of all the great like college comedies that you've ever come across, like and it's the one that kind of started them all.
Yeah, that's the first one.
National Lampoon's Animal House.
Panty raids.
You have no idea how close that is to being true.
Someone had some 1995 VHS tapes in there.
Fred Sacco says Minnie grew up in a log cabin till 2015 when she accidentally found Husker football. That's almost true.
Mr. Hansen says anyone who went to college has to watch Animal House, preferably before, but after at least. LOL. So back before streaming was everything, like late 80s, I used to watch Animal House on TV because it was always edited for time and, of course, for content. So, Saturday or Sunday morning, something like that, Animal House is on TV, Dad's got it on. You don't see anything. Like you see I remember vividly watching the marching, the big speech in front of the Delta, or not but the Greek Council, things like that. The big speech, and they all walk out, and then as a teenager, I bought the movie on VHS or something, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that on PBS at 10:30 on a Saturday morning. So there's a lot of stuff that young kids wouldn't be seeing.
It's got some good race relations with what's the singer's name? I always forget. Oh, dang it. I'm not gonna
Wasn't.
Yeah, Minnie, have you seen Blazing Saddles?
I have. Love that movie. Love it. Okay.
Otis.
There we go. Otis, my man.
Okay.
And we dance dates.
You guys, do you think that Nebraska baseball is the real deal this season?
They've definitely got to figure out the pitching, but yeah, you missed it a little bit, but I said that the collective.
I had my ears in.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. So yeah, it's always hard to judge when we get into conference play, but how exactly they're going to be. So it's going to be a little more difficult with the midweek games now because, I mean, we had 4 pitchers. We're down to 3 basically now. And then the guy who kind of would have been our next man up is Timmerman, whose face is still being repaired. So we're not exactly sure when he's going to be back. So a lot of young guys that aren't exactly experienced are going to have to grow up pretty quick for them to kind of get back to where they were hoping they would be. But schedule early on in the Big Ten is not that tough, so it should be doable for them to kind of work things out and kind of figure out a new role for everyone with the current pitching situation. So I'm hoping that comes to fruition.
I want to talk to you about the schedule because it's obviously it's opening against Washington this weekend. UCLA, they're at UCLA. Next weekend, the 14th, 15th, 16th, at USC. The weekend after that. I mean, what's with all this Pac-12 invasion early on? I mean, crying out loud, we're taking on Oregon State at the end of the month. That's I know it's a weekend series. It's not conference, but how did the Pac-10, in its glory years, Pac-12, how did they fare in baseball? Like I always remember, Arizona State, Arizona, but do the other teams in the conference, do they care about baseball that much?
Yeah, so I believe it is still Texas and USC, I think, are the 2 that have the most baseball championships. USC in the 70s was the best baseball program by far.
Okay.
And then they had a late 90s run too, but they've been kind of up and down since then. But UCLA has been a little bit better recently. They've had quite a few pro pitchers, like all pro pitchers, go through there. That has had their team up a lot better than USC recently. Oregon has started to spend a lot of money on that within the past 10 years, so they're kind of moving up there. The only thing is Washington's just kind of so-so. They're not great, but they care, which is what we need to add more of in the Big Ten, is caring about baseball. And it seems a lot of programs, like Penn State, for the first time, put in like multi-million dollars into improving all their facilities and hired way more coaching than they've had previously. So, but with the West Coast guys, I mean, traveling from Oregon to Piscataway, New Jersey for a football game is a little rough. Going there for a weekend of baseball and then going back and then going to Iowa City and then going back. Oregon's supposed to come through and just blow through the conference with the talent they have. I don't see how you can keep that up. There's a reason the Mariners and teams up in that area don't do very good all the time, because that schedule is just brutal with all the traveling they have to do. So, yeah, they've always had them, and then like the Pepperdine, we go play in between those two. We do a nice little West Coast swing there. The WAC, when Augie Garrido, before he was at Texas, he was at Fullerton. Those schools all had a nice little breed of baseball where they would do all the bunting, all the playing defense right, and try and get one run an inning, whereas LSU and those guys were trying to mash the ball out of the entire state. So it was a fun dichotomy of a way to play baseball that we always saw in the CWS.
Interesting analogy, bringing up Seattle, the Mariners, because you're absolutely, I mean, this is a team that has, I mean, they had some generational talent, Ken Griffey Jr., they had Ichiro, just can never put it all together. And yep. I never thought about the travel aspect of it. And now that, interleague play is so, prominent, they're not just going across the country to play the Yankees and the Orioles, but they may be playing the Mets, the Braves, sweeping through the Cardinals or the Cubs. I would say the Astros, but Astros American League now. So there's just, there's no rest for that. But at the same time, how does a team like New York or Boston that's still very – I guess it's because most of the teams are on the eastern side of the country.
Yeah, it's most of them are, from St. Louis to the east is where most of the teams are. So it's usually those two time zones dominate the amount of – because someone did like a map and there's like just a giant swath of land from St. Louis to – if you take out the Rockies, there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Hey, Rostowski, I have a question.
Go on.
It seems like you are way more into baseball than you are football.
They're
Is
my
that
two
accurate?
favorites. I don't know if I'd say that.
No?
I've been into all sports my entire life. Like,
Didn't you take your whole family down to Texas?
oh yeah, because you can get into baseball games for like $8-10. Where I can't take them up to have them watch Michigan versus Nebraska for $400 or whatever. So we do like to make, and it's usually we go somewhere warm when it's like this outside in February and March.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
kind
such
of
a great
why
idea.
that always happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've always been a very multi-sport athlete.
I like baseball. Cheap. Not wrong. Well, even at the high school level, you got to pay $10 to get into a high school football game on a Friday night, but you can go up to the Ball Diamond, on a Thursday afternoon for free. So,
yep.
Yeah. And I was so surprised at concessions. Concessions are so cheap. I was looking at like $3 and $5 for things I don't even know. I'm like, go ahead, everybody order. Just whoever's in line.
Bratwurst all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, compared to like football games. So.
And my dad was always a baseball player growing up. He went to college and played baseball.
What college?
Like I mentioned before, I went. What's that?
What college did I thought you mentioned it earlier, but I missed it. So.
Oh, nothing. He went to Minot up in North Dakota.
I'm familiar with Minot.
So that's where, he went there for a few years after. I forget what JUCO he went to, and then tried to get his brother to go up there, who was also a pitcher. There were two dominant pitchers, and his brother was just never quite able to get things straight in the classroom to get into university. So, and then my dad was a basketball coach, won the state girls basketball's going on right now. He won that in 1986 when I was a year old in Johnson Brock. So we've been doing all the sports my whole life, and I think all the athletes should be doing that.
Yeah, there are studies to show that specializing in one sport's not good. You need to work different muscles, throughout the year. So some of the best football players have also played baseball or basketball. So the best, baseball players had other sports. So yeah, diversify that youth athletic portfolio. So
big proponent.
So okay, can I go ahead and just chime in? Not that
Please.
anyone cares, but okay. My oldest daughter.
You know what? No, I'm going to stop you right there. Don't denigrate yourself like that.
What?
Don't say that. Not that anybody cares.
Well, it's because it's about Connor. He's 16 now. He's driving, guys. He's still playing baseball. He's a pitcher. Okay. Cora goes. She texts me and she goes, "Mommy, can I go to his game?" I said, "Yes." So she goes to his game. And in high school, I guess they only play 7 innings.
Correct.
I had no idea. So they play 7 innings. They are at the bottom of the 7th inning, and they are down 5-0. Okay, or 0-5. And through one mistake after the other, they are able to score runs. And Connor, is one of those runs.
No
So,
way.
yes. So Cora's like, oh my gosh, we're just cheering over there where everyone is just like putting him on their shoulders. And, I get what that feels like. I don't think I've ever been a part of that. I mean, I get like her excitement for him. She's happy. This is such a cool thing. No, Connor. Not Connor Hayden. I'm corn crazed. Yeah, Connor is my daughter's boyfriend, and he is 16. Okay, not Connor Hayden. Just to be clear about that. But you must have played baseball, right?
Who?
Rostovsky. And you? Did you?
Yeah, it's fun being part of a scoring play on like football or any of the scoring plays in basketball. But yeah, there's nothing like you're out there all alone in the batter's box and doing something good for your team in baseball. To me, it's unequaled in that kind of sports.
So there's a huge difference between offense and defense in baseball. I mean, it seems like our team, Nebraska, is having a hard time with offense. How are we on defense?
Defense, we're always one of the better teams in the conference, if not the country. Right now, I think we have like 5 errors on the season, and 4 of those are by pitchers. We just had our first error by like a fielder 10 games into the season in like the 3rd inning, which is insane. Our fielding has been lights out this whole season so far, and was last year too.
Yeah.
The season before, we had a shortstop that was a little heavy-handed at times, and so the ball would bounce out. But he could make some just plays you've never seen before in your life. Like he made a play in TD Ameritrade at the College World Series park where he ran out almost to where the outfielders sit and caught a ball over his head that I've never seen anyone make in my life. But then he was pretty stone-handed at times. So it's nice that it's helped a lot with this early season to be very sure-handed on defense with the way our offense has been, shall we say, lacking.
You got to make up for those deficiencies somewhere. So let's see. We're talking about Connors and Highlander Gun says, I thought John Connor led the resistance against the Terminators. We all joke about it, but like technology is advancing at a pace that I don't think humanity's ready for. Artificial intelligence. I saw some image of some android that could be, loaded with AI. And I'm like, let's not. I'm not ready for that.
You guys.
Yeah.
I think the guys in the chat are ready to move on. Sorry, are you done, Rostowski? With baseball?
I believe so.
Anything else you want to add? Do you want to add anything else?
Really just fuck Creighton is all I've got to add to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Maybe we should make that an emoji. Would that be a good one?
I'm in.
Yeah? Are we allowed to say that on an emoji? I don't know. Okay. So the big news today, this is the number one thing we have to talk about, is this.
Nebraska women's basketball.
Yeah.
No. The spring game, you guys.
Quote unquote.
We finally got news. Okay, I'm taking my baseball thing off. We finally got news as to what we're doing. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you want me to read it?
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
And then I'll finish the rest.
Wonderful. The skills competitions will be similar to the NFL's Pro Bowl games. In addition to those and the 7-on-7 games, former players will participate in various competitions, and there will be a women's flag football exhibition. Tickets are $10 for adults. For an additional $50, fans can take a 1-hour tour of the Osborne Legacy Complex football building. As part of the Husker Games, as the event is called, Nebraska also will host a women's soccer exhibition against Wyoming and a spring volleyball match against Kansas.
Okay.
I feel like with that voice and that content, we should have had like, what would you do with a drunken sailor playing behind it? Like the old
What
NFL
would
films.
you do with the drunken sailor? What would you do with the drunken sailor? What would you do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
Perfect.
Thank you.
I never heard that song before.
And now you wish you never did.
I have heard the song Brandy, and I love that song. Okay. So you guys.
I've heard Happy Birthday. It's a great song, too.
Have you guys heard of this group called Metallica?
All right. The Osborne Legacy Tours, they're going to do like a whole day of it. This is
That's the most
if
interesting
you
to me.
happen to be, yes, if you happen to be in Lincoln, okay, you get to go to all of these different events. You get an Osborne Legacy Tour. Greg Rostowski. This is big. $50 for 1 hour. You have to pick which hour you want. It's between 8 and noon. Okay. You get to see the locker room, the weight room, the recovery rooms, training table, team meetings, walkthroughs, and end with a tunnel walk.
That'd be
End with a tunnel walk. I'd pay $50 just for the tunnel walk.
Well,
8 to noon seems a bit early, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Then
Carl wants to know how much would it cost to slide a yard or two short with Dylan Raiola?
Come on, really?
Like the old stop short on Costanza? Sorry.
I feel like it should be $40 to slide short with Dylan. Because you're not quite getting the full.
Stop. Okay, so then you also get to have the Husker food truck on the East Stadium Plaza, local food truck vendors. Okay.
Muchachos are we riot.
$50. Then there's also a Husker equipment sale. That right there. That and the tunnel walk. That's all I care about. It is free with any ticket cost. Like any ticket that you buy for anything else, you get to go to the equipment sale from 9 to 1.
Do you say equipment sale?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what so it's going to be merchandise from like local, companies, but it's also team merchandise.
I want a
from
Mojo Hagee
Nebraska Athletics. Yes, including jerseys and helmets.
That's how you can get that authentic Dylan sweat.
Wouldn't it be fun if he just has like all of his headbands, sweatbands there?
Get you a certificate of authenticity for me. Stephen Fromm says, dang, you can go far with $50 hairs in Nebraska, buddy. You don't know.
You can. Okay, so then they have the football game figured out. Is it going to be the football games of old? No. But we knew that. Mm-hmm. It is going to be a $10 fee, and then there's another fee, like discounted fees for youth and senior. But gates open at 12:30. They start at 2. This is going to be 7-on-7. They're going to do 7-on-7 football, skills contest, and other competitions featuring the 2025 football team. So we'll get to see the guys and doing things. But here's the part that gets me is they're going to have Husker football legends as well. And they're going to be participating in. Greg, what are you doing? Why are you leaning back like that?
I'm listening.
They're going to be participating in competition and skills contest. Do you not believe this or what?
The veteran, like the alumni are going to be participating in. That's cool.
Well, Husker legends, football legends. So I'm guessing.
I want to see Brendan Sty versus Aaron Taylor fielding punts or something like that.
I just wonder, are they going to have Tommy Frazier on the field?
No, I don't know.
If they pay him, he'll be there.
This will be interesting, you guys.
Let's see. James Boardman wants to know, Minnie, would you pay $50 to smell the locker room?
No, that's gross, James.
I mean, they probably clean it out after every game.
In case you aren't watching, she winked after that.
Oh, Fred says that Minnie would sell me to get some used team merch.
I would. I would.
Trade that only one party comes out ahead because like University of Nebraska, here's a 42-year-old mess. Do with it what you can. I'll take all of your game worn jerseys, please.
The 5 Heart Podcast with Minnie and
his gray
Corey
cloud
Ross's pants from the 1990 or 2008 something.
Fred says if the headband doesn't smell like Axe body spray and inconsistency, it's not Dylan's.
It's true.
Carl says Dylan's autographed game jockstrap.
Oh my gosh.
Josh would rather have Wistrom's cowboy collar. I miss those collars.
I don't say this often, but Padge Voop has a good one.
We'll get there. BFOTS says 22 people watching. If we get 17 likes, Greg has to shotgun a beer.
Shotgun.
I would probably shotgun a beer.
Well, I'll be right
Greg,
back.
do you have a concussion from last night?
Sure. No, I do not have a concussion from last night. My brain is fine. It's working as good as it always did. If anything, I got sense knocked into me. No, I don't know about that last part.
Okay. Well, they're also going to have a soccer game.
I said that.
At 4:30. Yes, I know. But we have to go through everything. And a volleyball game. I know you said. Yeah. Okay.
But no baseball.
Well. Yeah. Stephen Fromm wants to see Peter's brother one-on-one with Ndamukong Suh. Is this the one by Pat you were talking about? I'm on Green versus Frost in Oklahoma drills.
Absolutely.
They're definitely going to have the Oklahoma drills. You guys, they're definitely going to have the Oklahoma drills because Rule did talk about that again in one of his press conferences. He brought that up just recently. So I think we're going to see that for sure. And I really like that. I think it's fun to watch that.
Minnie, do you know this reference?
What? Yes, I do.
Okay. Just making sure.
Let's see. Brett says, nope. Brett says, Minnie is subtly putting Greg into protocol. Are you taking away my helmet? And Josh says, well, which is it, Greg? Is it fine or is it working like it always did?
Poor Greg. We're worried about you, Greg. That's all. That's all it is. Okay. Who here is planning on going? Raise your hand if you want to go. I want to go. I don't know if I'm going, but I want to go.
What's the date on it again?
is it April 26th? Is that it? I
Let me
didn't
check.
read the date. April 26th. Yep.
No, I'll be at work.
Oh, come on. You can leave for a whole week to go to Texas?
Yeah, that's why I have to plan these things out like a year in advance. So that's why I do it around things like that. Because I'm like, well, what else am I going to go do? But
I have to go get a
can't
beer.
anything off.
Oh, Lord. I guess so.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye.
And then when we get to 22 likes, I'll have to do a bump.
Oh,
Right?
Highlanders here. Hi. I miss
What did you just say?
you. Just FYI. I have no idea. I didn't
Don't
say
hear
it.
them, I heard it.
Did you say what I think you said?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I can't repeat it. I'm shocked.
What? What?
shocked. You tell her what you said, sir.
I said if we get to 22 likes, he'll have to do a bump
What's
of Coke. Aim.
Okay. Okay. Well, he's not doing that. He already has brain trauma from yesterday. We don't need anything happening to Greg, okay?
Yeah, the pain
Okay,
pills.
so we're going to get into, you don't have it in front of you. I know Greg has access to it, but we're going to get into the format. And we are an hour in and just now getting to the format. Okay.
Then I've done my job.
Yes, you have. It is. We're talking about the dark clouds of recent history, examining the struggles of the recent past, highlighting the lack of success. Although we did go to a bowl game, and that was a lot of fun to watch. And we won.
So I'm
But
guessing we
fan
are.
frustration. That is the main thing that I am so upset about right now is the fan frustration part. Because I feel like there's so many fans that have checked out because they're just tired of hearing, oh, we're winning again in the off season. They want to see results. Hi. You ready?
No, I don't shotgun beers, but I will chug it. But I'm going to pour it into a more chug-friendly cup because I'm a pussy.
While you do that, I'll answer James Boardman here real quick. And we came up from Texas to stayed in Kansas City for a couple days. So the rest of my family could come join us on a quick vacation. And then we waited until the day after the insane windstorms to swing on back up here because I didn't feel like driving a fully loaded SUV in like 60 to 70 mile an hour winds.
That would be fun.
Oh. How long did it take you to drive back then?
By the next day, by yesterday, it was fine. There was nothing on the interstate. It was perfectly clear. But yeah, okay. Tuesday night was supposed to have. They were expecting like multiple inches of snow combined with 60 to 70 mile per hour, like hurricane force winds going through there. And other than the lawn furniture scattered all over our backyard, it seems like it's all still here.
Well, Greg, you have a lot of people calling for you to chug it, funnel it. Greg.
I am not in my 20s anymore, so this will be fun.
Craig. Do it. What? Oh my gosh. Oh no. That was scary.
Cold.
Oh, hi. Are you okay?
Yep.
Well, what's Greg checking today?
Whoa.
Oh my gosh. I did not think you were going to do that.
Well, I couldn't just not do it, Vinny. The people demanded it.
I actually am way impressed. I thought you were just going to sit there and just sip. But wow. I don't think you've ever done that before. I've seen. Has anyone?
Nope, I haven't done that in a long time.
Wow. Okay.
Like I said, it was
Hello.
cold. That fridge, that beer fridge in the garage keeps those things cold. So
Oh, good. Good deal.
thanks, Josh. Yeah, let's aspire.
Okay.
Let's aspire to new heights going forward. All right.
Okay, so you have the format in front of you. We are talking about the dark clouds of recent pasts.
Yes.
Can you read? Are you able to read?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What part am I supposed to read?
I already read it. The only part that I was wanting to talk about was the fact that people seem to be checking out more this season, this off season, I mean, than they have in the past. I mean, I've been a fan for 9.5 years, and I have not seen this many people just check out.
Well, I'll tell you what. It is after 10 o'clock Central Time, the Lord's time, on a Thursday night in the first week of March, and we have almost 400 people watching us right now. And they could be doing literally anything else, but they're here hanging out with us. So somewhere deep down inside, they still care. And that is to be admired and appreciated. And I thank all of you for not giving up. Now find 2 of your friends and drag them here next week, kicking and screaming. Tell them we're not giving up either.
Yeah. TSD is a Husker volleyball fan. We all are. We love the volleyball girls. We just love them so much. It's just they're just so on top of it. What are we going to talk about?
They're winners, damn it.
Yeah. So there's trauma in our past, and we need to work through it. That's all I know.
We've been hurt before.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Steven says, well, if you made it through the Mike Riley and Scott Frost coach Nebraska football teams, it's become easy to check out. And he's not wrong. Steven, you are not wrong. So,
it's the only era that I actually know, like really know. But
I mean, I came
I
along.
have more hope.
I came along in the Callahan era.
Okay.
And then the Pelini era, where we won games. We won 9 games at least every season, but we had embarrassing losses, and we plateaued. Wouldn't you say, Aaron?
Yeah. Sorry, my audio cut out there a little bit. You had definitely more chances to celebrate things in those eras, but the downs were very down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got just a little bit enough to kind of build you back up, and then poof, the rug was pulled out from you every time.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree that it seems like this year, after we had like what seems like a stepping stone of success, going to a bowl game, B, winning that said bowl game, getting more coaches that Rule had time to like vet and not scramble to put together like his initial hires. So that kind of surprised me that at this stage of the game that people are checking out as much as it seems like they are compared to when things were completely in the doldrums. And
Yes. We blindly followed him in the past. This season, sorry, Greg, I know you were talking.
It's okay. Please finish your thought.
But this season, we have real reason to be excited. Exactly what Rostovsky just said.
Kaylee says, I'm not sure if fans are tired of hearing we are winning more than they are skeptical when hearing we are going to win. The anticipation is okay, but the execution needs to match the narrative. Which kind of brings us to that. I mean, it's become a joke now, the off-season champs, 3 years running or something like that. Back to back. Nebraska T-Bones is right. We will still watch every game. Watch or listen, tune in somehow. And Carl says, Minnie, our last conference championship in football was 1999, which was
a long time ago.
Makes me sad every time I go in Memorial Stadium and look up that. They leave us so much space for the ones to come after that.
Right.
And there's nothing.
Not yet. They were expecting a lot more.
Yeah.
There's still time. There's still more college football to be played. We're not going to give up hope. That's my take anyway.
It's just that, okay, so we all, what?
TSD says, Greg, get off my lawn. I didn't realize I was on his lawn. Sorry, TSD. I apologize.
It's just, what I wanted to say is, it's just that we all got behind Rule blindly because we knew what he was capable of producing at Temple and Baylor. And even though he hadn't been in college football for a couple years and things have changed so much, when he came, remember, he kind of had to hire just whoever he could hire. The rules were not conducive to bringing your coaching staff with you or even players that you've played with. It wasn't until this past season that you could really do that. So he had to bring all new people, but people that he knew and trusted. But
your guest from this past Monday night, Mr. James Boardman, says, unlike other recent coaches, Rule is making coaching changes to fix things.
Yes.
Pelini was afraid to make any really necessary changes on the coaching staff. Mike Riley did here and there, but you always kind of knew what you were going to get with Mike Riley. He's a 500 coach. And then Scott Frost just, again, brought some of his buddies. That was about it. So, yeah, I agree. Matt Rule is taking the necessary steps, particularly this offseason. And some of it maybe, his hand was forced when Tony White, et cetera, left for Florida State. But he's still making the necessary changes and improving the coaching staff, which will have a positive effect on the team.
Pelini did make a coaching change of forcing out Ekeler.
But look who's back again. Eckler's back. Tell a friend.
But in my unrecorded podcast with Todd and Andy earlier today, that's exactly what we talked about. How you kind of saw the day that he announced Holgorsen was taking over. You saw he was a different guy that day. He wasn't quite as upbeat. He knew he was quote unquote demoting a friend, and that from that day forward, you knew he was doing everything for the 105 guys soon to be on that roster versus his buddy in the next office over. And that said a lot compared to what we'd seen previously.
Okay.
Go ahead. You just highlighted a comment. Go ahead and throw that
I forget what I was going to say, but sorry. Okay, this one. Carl Pence. Carl, first of all, I appreciate all of your comments.
She's building you up just to tear you down. Trust me, I've been there.
Incoming.
Carl, I just feel like
giving you a compliment sandwich.
Sometimes you want to just remember all the ways that we've been hurt instead of thinking about the possibilities, okay? I also got behind Riley and Frost. 100%. I didn't even want either one of them fired. That's how much I got behind them. I just think that now, right now, with the way that Rule has changed things, going outside of his comfort zone, going outside, I mean, he demoted his best friend, Satterfield, to bring us a good OC. And I honestly think that the defensive coordinator was always in play. I thought that was just kind of a, yeah, what? Yeah, no?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm shaking my head at Fred. Continue. I'm sorry. I'll not react to Fred because it throws you off.
But okay, I just think that this is the year. Okay, we may not have right now. The biggest concern for me as a fan watching is what's going on with the wide receiver room, because I want to see like some big players. I'm a little nervous about that. What?
When you're done, continue. But then I've got
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Dane Key is the only one I can think of.
Carl Penn's rebuttals with Satterfield is still on the coaching staff, which what else would we do with him? Firing him. He's already been demoted from the thing that he was not good at, which is fine. He's been a damn good tight end coach in his past, which is where he's at now. Is it a lot to pay a tight ends coach? Yeah, it's a hell of a lot to pay a tight ends coach. But if we fired him, we're already paying that, and then we got to go pay another $400,000 for a tight end coach or whatever coach we want. It's not the days of the past where you can only have 10 to 12 coaches on staff, and the rest you've got to get rid of them to get someone good. We can have as many coaches as we want. Why not keep him on there as tight ends coach?
Well, here's the thing, and Raji says this too in response to it. Carl, trust me, we're not beating up on anybody, but it says we either pay him to coach tight ends or sit on the couch, and then you have to bring in somebody else and pay them to coach the tight ends. So, and again, you're not going to give him less money. That's not the contract that he has, and nobody else is going to pick him up and pay him that much money. So, and this is going to sound more negative than it's intended, but you're stuck with him or he, you're stuck with each other in this situation. He's stuck with us for now because he's not going to make better money anywhere else. And we're stuck with him until his contract's up.
But I just wanted to say
best out of a bad situation. Yeah. And I mean, not ideal, but go ahead.
Carl obviously has seen a lot of this throughout the years. And so I get the jadedness. I get it. Because how many times have you been sold a bill of goods that it's like, wait a second, this is not what I was told. And when you look at things, okay, on paper, Satterfield was a problem. But you already have this contract with him, and he has proven, like what you said, proven himself as a tight ends coach, which we need. And we also have all these analysts that have also worked with tight ends. So I'm not worried about tight ends. I'm just worried. The only thing I'm concerned about is getting wide receivers that actually that can make those plays. Like the last season, we had Isaiah Nair and we had Jamal Banks, and they should have both been able to make those plays. All the plays. So
Nair had
that's the only
historic day at the combine, but
I
did
know.
absolutely nothing for us.
Yeah.
But it was more about his athleticism than even catching a ball.
Mm-hmm.
He might end up being, I had a video game. It was like NFL Fever or I don't think it was Madden, but it was something maybe Xbox. But anyway, they're talking about, when you're playing and your defender, whether he's cornerback or safety, something like that, he goes for an interception, he drops the ball, and the cue that plays to the announcer is like, well, that's why he plays on the defensive side of the ball. That might be where Isaiah Neyor's career takes him, is to the opposite side, because he's got the athleticism. He's just got something in the hands that's not working to catch footballs.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete for his size. That's not the worst decision for him to get paid.
You got to take the payday when you can get it at the next level.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you got to take the good with the bad.
No.
And there you have. That's life. Okay.
How does that go?
Mm-hmm.
Minnie, how does that go?
I have no idea.
Minnie, I feel like you're lying to the people. We made a promise that we would never lie to the people. So how does that go?
We did?
We did, a long time ago.
You take the good with the bad. And there you have the facts of life. No? How does it go?
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have.
There you have.
Facts of life.
Go ahead. No, come on.
Facts of life.
Finish it. You.
I don't know anything beyond that. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so based off of what Rule has done in the past, I honestly think that he is the guy to bring us here to greatness again, because he's able to adjust his coaching.
Are you saying we need to start wearing MNFGA shirts? Or hats, I mean? Make Nebraska football great again?
No.
MNFGA.
Maybe we need to. No. How about in Rule we trust? IRWT.
What would Rule do?
Exactly. You know it.
Oh, classic Highlander. You know you're old when you watch The Facts of Life and think Miss Garrett is a hottie. And Fred has a serious question. And you know it's a serious question because he says serious question.
Serious question.
As many talks, Rule's third-year jump. If we don't have double-digit wins, is this a bad season?
Yeah, I think he would agree. I think looking at our season, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get there. We just need a couple more players. Just a couple more dudes. That's what we need. Maybe we have them. I don't know.
With the coaching additions and the player additions, I think anything less than 10 years would be, or 10 wins would be a quote unquote disappointing / bad year.
Minnie, can you read this one from James?
James, come on, really?
Read
another Nebraska. Okay, another Nebraska ultimate season.
A noose?
A noose. Thank you, Rostowski. A noose.
How dare you let her off the hook like that? We had a couple that addressed. Carl says Dylan was sacked an embarrassing 27 times last year. Offensive line gets an F grade for 2024, and says left tackle and center need an upgrade. Well, center's gone, left tackle's going to be new. And then Justin says not all sacks are the lines. Well, this is This is in response to Carl, but I'm saying this more for Minnie's benefit. Dylan stayed in the pocket too long.
Okay.
But
I don't think that anybody here is wrong. I think you guys are all right. I think you all have valid points, and I've thought them myself. I also think that the coaching is so different. You have to just start with that. And
this is where Holgerson's quick strikes, quick outs, and having two backs in the backfield, which he likes to do, that should help a lot.
Aaron, you want to take this one?
I did hear we're looking into a second long snapper out of Idaho, Mr. Hugh Jass. He may be good. Interesting if true.
Well, I'm ready to move forward.
Okay, what do you want to move to?
I mean, just Nebraska football in general. Like, I'm ready to.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I mean, spring? I guess spring ball has technically started, like spring workouts and practices and things like that.
Mat drills. Yep.
So that's wonderful. I am really excited for what this offseason is going to look different because we're not going to have the spring game, which we've touched on. But I'm really excited for Nebraska football 2025. Without giving away too much, I foresee eclipsing last year's win total, having a better season, continuing that upward trajectory. I think we have a lot of the pieces in place, and one of those pieces got to talk in front of a live mic earlier this week at the press conference. That is our new special teams coordinator, Mr. Mike Ekeler.
Oh yeah, he was fan-freaking-tastic. So, Coach Ekeler, everyone's seen this. I know every single person that is in the chat has probably watched this press conference at least twice.
Show of hands if you haven't.
If I'm right, I know I'm right. Okay, so
we're almost high-fiving.
Because we are all excited about it. His demeanor, I don't know, the personality he brings, not just his, but every other guy that took the press conference, every other coach, also, they were like dudes. These are guys that play football, live for football, and are football guys. They're not guys, not that we've ever had these, they're not guys that want to talk about football. They're dudes that know what they're talking about. Didn't you feel that way, Rostovsky?
I did hear a snippet of where someone asked if he was a little more relaxed than he was last time he was here, because he was always been a very, very enthusiastic man. But he said, if anything, it's worse, that he's more in your face and more all over the place. But so he's going to be even louder and more enthusiastic than he was even the previous time he was here. And I, for one, am all for that for a special teams guy. And he kind of decided, because when he was here last time, he was linebackers and special teams was his kind of side gig. He's kind of decided special teams is going to be where he makes all his money. He's putting the work in on the film room for hours and hours on end, not to split between defense and special teams, but fully to focus on his special teams duties. And so I think that's a little more than we were getting last year, because he had one blocked kick in the last 4 years, and we had 2 blocked kicks in 1.5 last year, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to it.
He thought this was an opportunity of a lifetime to come back to his home and to do it in such a fashion where he thinks he can make a difference. His family still lives in Nebraska. I mean, this guy has so many goals for himself. He wants to finish the I-80 marathon. He wants to do all this stuff. and be part of making Nebraska great. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, he
I'm in
never
love with him.
never wanted to leave. He was pushed out.
Tiger Shark Diver says, Minnie liking Mike Ekeler as a take warms my Husker heart.
Your Husker heart.
Nah, damn it.
And Fred says, TSD, you kiss ass.
Yeah. Thank you. Somebody should. Jeez.
But he said some
guys,
really, I think, impactful things at the – wait a minute. Raji says, do you know what the I-80 marathon is, Minnie?
I've only heard about it. No, not exactly.
Is that the same
Struggling.
thing as the market-to-market thing, or is that a different thing altogether?
I don't know.
Guys.
Yep. I'm Gregling. I didn't do the fun graphic this time. I apologize. I don't know.
This is me filling time.
Well, here's the thing. My computer is not equipped to handle Greggle searches that include the word marathon in them. Unless it's like, Lord of the Rings movie marathon or Star Wars movie marathon or Marvel movie marathon or, it's just not prepared for that. So, but some of the things that he had to say,
Right.
I'll share one of these.
Justin, you are the one who questioned me. Why don't you tell us? Justin. Come on.
I mean, this is
I know
my
it's a marathon.
It says it's a marathon on the I-80.
That's what I thought.
Which I think is what market-to-market is.
Guys, here's one thing I know. All of the interstates that are like 10, 20, 30, 40, they all run like latitude, horizontal across the U.S. Yes.
That's how it works.
The more you know.
I was just trying to help. Okay, go ahead. Read it.
Mr. Raji says, Ekeler decided to make a run from Omaha to Lincoln down I-80 and got picked up by the cops because it was too dangerous.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
that. And Boardman says, it's a no-no. NSP put a stop to that. He was 3 miles short.
Could you imagine just like Forrest Gump? He just starts running one day.
I just started running.
More lore from Mr. Hansen says he told the defense if they had a good practice, he would run a marathon, and they did. So he left the stadium and ran down I-80, got picked up by a trooper.
Oh, my goodness. This is awesome.
The story gets better and better. This is wild.
Now that they said that, all this is coming back to me.
All right. So one of the things that he said, let's start with speaking about running. He says, we got a really fast football team. I was talking about the speed, and Coach Snow, Phil Snow, of course, is like, hey, have you ever seen a donkey win the Kentucky Derby? Yeah. I don't know about donkey. You've probably seen a few jackasses do it. We recruit speed and develop guys, and that's who he is. So I feel like I walked into an opportunity of a lifetime, and I walked away from a phenomenal situation from where I was at Tennessee and Josh Heupel, who is a lifelong friend of mine. So talk about running and I'm sure it was a difficult decision for him to leave Knoxville. There's probably maybe just a handful of, offers that he would have received in the college football game that would take him away from Tennessee. So yes, he gets to come back home, and he gets to come back to I say home as in the state of Nebraska, come back to the University of Nebraska. And many, like you said, feel like he can really make a difference. One of those, talking about making a difference, he says, every single day as a human being, as a father, as a journalist, you're getting better or worse. Of course, he was talking to the journalist. He says, we never stay the same, right? So if you're built to be the best, then you're always constantly looking to improve every single day you wake up. So every day in my life, it's all about continuous improvement. There's only one way to coast, right? And that's downhill. I'm not into that. So those are like that quote there I mean, you might see a
good one.
Greg-shaped hole in the brick wall behind me here with that kind of stuff.
It's what he does best. Somebody, James Boardman, said the other day on Monday Night Therapy, in case you missed it, James Boardman.
8 o'clock Central right here on Coronation's YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Yes. He did say that anytime there's a coaching vacancy, that everyone's mind always goes to the best player that they can think of that maybe not coaching. But that's not necessarily the best coach, because who knows if they can coach, right? This guy can coach. He makes his freshman players want to run through that wall. He makes us great. I've run through that wall. Right?
And,
how do you feel, Rostowski?
I mean, I don't have a brick wall or anything, but I got like a window I could jump out of on the first floor.
Okay. See?
At Tennessee, he did play a lot of freshmen and walk-ons, which is a great opportunity for young guys, on the team to make an impact, get noticed. He's not afraid to take, I don't want to say works in progress, but take that raw, unfinished talent and throw them out on the field and say, let your athleticism shine. And, obviously Tennessee had a better season than we did, so doing something right.
That was a hypo decision, though, to not play any of the starters. So I don't know that Rule will necessarily do that same thing, but it makes sense. I mean, at Tennessee, they always kicked everything into the end zone, so there's no reason to have your starters run 60 yards when they don't have to down the football field. But I know Rule likes to kick it a little short of the end zone if he can, to force the other team to try and return it if they do, or he also likes to return everything. He doesn't like to fair catch kickoffs. So I'm interested to see if
that's not going to happen.
I don't think that with the financial decisions we have to make as regards to players, we're probably not going to see guys like Dane Key or anyone like that be forced to be on special teams. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a couple of starting linebackers or something out there on punt return or anything like that. So I don't think we'll necessarily go to the all freshman, all sophomore.
Running Through Walls, the Kool-Aid podcast. Oh, yeah. Thanks, James.
What happened?
I breathed wrong and my camera wire shifted, and therefore it got disconnected. And when that happens, he boots you out.
Hey, Rostowski, what? Sorry. And you said and?
Me?
I was going to ask, no, Greg, but I interrupted you because I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Rostowski, what are you drinking?
Wait. Don't answer that question yet. Yep. What's he drinking today? Whoa. See, I'm cool.
If you must know, drink number 3 is mango margarita. I do love a good Cutwater margarita / I think they've got a Moscow Mule. I think they've got a Mai Tai in there. Yeah. That's probably my favorite of the canned mixed drinks.
They're horrible.
I like the lime one. That's because these guys, unlike the other ones, they're 12%. Yeah, 12.5% instead of 8%. Those other losers try and push you through.
Okay.
Because it's baseball season. It's practically summer out here, unless you look out the window.
And you have to drink out of a can.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we talked about Mike Ekeler. Everybody, I mean, every single person here is excited about special teams.
Are you talking about over in the comments?
Am I going this way?
You're going this way?
The comments.
Yes. Yes. Point that direction.
This
yes.
one or this one?
Those are the comments.
This way, that way. Okay.
Well, as
Every
Fred
person
Sacco
is excited.
points out, I don't think it's I think it behooves you to not have your $1 million wide receiver out playing special teams
I don't think Fred's
That's
ever said
right.
anything that
at
intelligent.
10:39.
I'm not so sure if that came out of Fred's mouth.
If we get this one here, if we get to the point where high money NIL players aren't forced to play special teams, I'm out. That'd just be ridiculous. And then Raji says you don't force anyone to play special teams. You play the players that make special teams better.
That's Raji. There he goes, making sense again.
Pitt.
He's like the voice of reason when we least expect it.
Pitt's here. That's right. I mean, Josh was here and Josh left or something, so I don't know what's going on with Josh. But Minnie, what else we got? We've talked about Ekeler. We've talked about Matt Rule and company.
The only thing that we have is to finish with Coach Terry and I knew I was going to do. Thank you, Coach Williams. Terry Bradden came from the Kansas City Chiefs, and in the press conference, he kept everyone's like, "Hey, stop! No, we're not going to do that because we want them." Listen, you know what? You know what he said, Rosowski? That's so important. He said that he's going to have some of the Kansas City Chiefs football players come and talk to our guys about what it's like to move up to the next level. We want that. Okay? But
we want Dylan. We want Dylan to go to the
doesn't invite the fans.
Okay. I know. I read what the fans did to your wife, and I'm so sorry. That sucked. She was pregnant and they poured a beer on her.
I didn't hear that story.
And shoved her in the back, like almost to the point of knocking her over.
Whose ass do I have to kick?
Ooh, it was very close. They left very fast once they realized that I was with her.
I bet.
I was much bigger than their little 5'8" asses. Anyway.
Okay, so we all are mad at those people who did that to your wife, by the way, including me. Okay.
Peyton Manning also threw 4 touchdowns and beat their ass that day.
Okay.
But he did say that number one thing for him is relationships, family. He's going to also have some of the football players from the Chiefs come and talk to our guys. It's going to be, again, just fundamentals. You can never get tired of just doing the fundamentals. And that's what's important. And I wrote it down. I don't have it right in front of me, but Greg, I think you do. What did he say? Like, you have to get on the line. You have to do what? Get your hands set. You have to.
Oh,
forget
yes.
Exactly.
Right. He says, I've been a coach in Little League to high school to the NFL. Now I'm in college. So we're going to teach the same principles. Get in the stance, get off, hand placement, strike, block. Fundamentals are fundamentals. You can't get bored with them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I have no problem with that. I think that is just, yeah. When did we ever get away from that?
In my unrecorded podcast today, Andy said that he talked about how he was not only a coach, but an athletic director of a high school at 24. That's crazy.
He must be a good coach. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, to move up and join the NFL after being a coach that young because he didn't play in the NFL, did he? I don't know where he got his NFL connections from initially.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But
I have no idea. But I would hire that guy.
Yeah, I
in a
love
heartbeat.
fundamentals, and then unpopular on this podcast, but the Bill Belichick do your job. Those are my two favorite things.
It's only unpopular with Greg, not me. It's okay.
I love do your job.
Yeah.
And I accept all shade.
Well, according to NFLDraftBuzz.com, there are 6 Huskers slated in the mock draft, from Tommy Hill to Tyreek Johnson. So,
What? I have not heard anything about Tyreek Johnson or Tommy Hill. Obviously, Ty Robinson is the top guy because he just came out of nowhere and just dropped 30 pounds. He ran, what was it, 4.83 or something?
Yep.
4.83.
Yeah. And his long jump, what was it, like 9?
His broad jump was just
9.
short of what their magic number is, like 9.11 or something like that. Because I think they went the 10-foot broad jump.
Just short.
It was like the
Just short.
ungodly number.
So we all know he is like,
And you
know
watched
his passion.
one of the YouTube channels that's affiliated with the Huskers, I don't remember which one, posted his combine press conference. And man, if you want to watch a clinic on how to handle a press conference, his went on for, I think, like 13, 14, 15 minutes. Most of them are like 6 minutes, and people are like, okay, this guy's boring. Let's move on to the next guy. And they just kick him off the stage. And he was just rolling on, well, why did you stay for so many years? And why do you think everyone says that hurts you because you're going to be 30 when you sign your second contract and all this crap? And man, he just boom, 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 had an answer for everything. It all made sense. That was as impressive as the numbers he put up on the field to me.
I agree. And that is one thing, again, Rostowski, thank you for bringing it up and highlighting it. That is one thing that Nebraska does differently. We put all of our guys in front of the camera.
Yep.
Let's showcase your brand. Let's teach you how to do this, because this is, if you move on, this is what you're going to do. And I love that. He has been in front of the camera before. He's been asked hard questions, and they've coached him on it, and it shows. So yeah, his brand is bigger than it ever has been because he stayed that extra year.
Mm-hmm. The main thing I don't get. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, Raji says that Ty Smarts will be a massive jump for him in his draft stock, let alone his physical numbers. And Vince says Ty always has being a doctor to fall back on.
It's true. Imagine, just
if we tie, we tie.
If we tie, we tie.
Big
Okay,
fan of football players that go on to get doctorates here, if I may say so.
Me too.
The thing that surprised me with this combine was Tom showing up at like 213 pounds. I don't know why he thought that would be a good idea, because I think he was like 208 or something at the Senior Bowl and wasn't moving quite as good with his foot. I don't even know if he did anything. I don't think he did anything with the combine with his injury. But still, showing up at 213 pounds is kind of a red flag, I would think, for a cornerback.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll be okay.
But on the other hand, we did mention Isaiah Nair. But we didn't talk about, we didn't talk about Thomas Fidone. Wasn't he 34th overall in all of the tight end in history. What was it, like, I don't know, a couple thousand guys that they've ever – what?
Minnie, I don't want to interrupt, but you mentioned Isaiah Nayor. Do you know how impressive his combine numbers were?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I mean, historically?
Yes. He was like 9th overall, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but can I expand on that just a little bit?
Yeah.
He scored an unofficial – now, I don't know what all these things mean. 9.97 out of a possible 10, and this ranked 11 out of 3,408 wide receivers from 1987 to 2025.
The guy is a major athlete. We knew that, and that's the reason why we got him. Guys, I'm not an Isaiah Nayor hater at all. I just didn't see him make a jump, like help us offensively.
Yeah, he had a few.
I'm just wondering, where are those sure hands? I didn't see them. I wish I did. I mean, I think we all wish we did.
Right. It could have changed a few of those. Could have flipped some of those games, some of those close games.
Don't you think it's a little skewed? The combine numbers based off of what we saw this season. That's all I'm saying. And I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. I just don't know why we didn't see it. One, maybe it was coaching. Two, maybe it was offensive, play calls.
Quarterback problems.
Don't say that. Don't. But, is he going to go?
True. Not wrong, Vince.
Higher than Ty? I don't think so. You could be a great athlete. It just still means you're a project.
No, yes. So the way that they do, most GMs handle a combine is if they see they have kind of an expected numbers that they think you will get, and then if they go way above that, they'll be like, that's kind of strange, and so they'll go back and maybe do like a double check on your tape, which doing a double check on Nayor's tape is not going to be a good thing for him.
No. Raji says the Ty was 24th. I'm assuming all time for defensive lineman for the 40. Nayor 11th all time. RAS and Fedoni in the 30s for RAS overall time. Corey Campbell's a hell of a coach. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about coaches who deserve a bump in pay. Corey Campbell's got to be on that short list for Nebraska.
Did you hear what he did?
We'll just assume that I didn't hear anything.
This is so cool. Okay. I guess a couple guys were doing something and they posted it on TikTok. Okay. And they're not supposed to do things in the facility, like a TikTok dance or whatever it was in the facility. That's like off limits. It's against the rules. So young guys. So rules like, oh, no. We got to handle this. So he has the guys like doing the freshman guys. I guess they're doing like wall sits. You know what wall sits are? Like, yeah. And every single freshman has to go out there and do a TikTok dance while the other is sitting, while they're all sitting on the wall. Every single one. Because somebody, a couple guys, I guess, did that TikTok.
Well, it's good.
Can you believe? And this is Corey Campbell that is having them do this.
Good. Don't break the rules. Stay off of TikTok. TikTok is dumb.
I think it's great.
I'm old.
I just love that.
It's good. It's incorporating what they were doing, like the incorporating the crime into the punishment.
Yes, let the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah, right.
It's like go smoke that whole pack of cigarettes.
I would love to see those. I would love to see those TikTok dances. Greg,
I'm sure.
have you ever done a TikTok dance?
Who? Which one are you asking?
Well, either one of you. Have you guys?
No.
No?
I wouldn't say a dance per se.
You're
I've done a
saucy.
couple of videos of various things that were going viral all the time, but none of them were a dance, I would say.
Fred says, I'd say Dylan was one of the guys who did the dance, but he's not that mobile. Or he probably danced, and stopped dancing a few seconds short.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I thought that was fun. I'm glad you mentioned Corey Campbell.
It's a good story. Things
good.
like that get, press coast to coast, because something that's fun, it's a little different, and it's going to get people talking. People are, some people are going to say, oh, that's cool. Some people are going to say that coach doesn't have any control over his locker room. People are going to talk about it, but it's fine. No problem with the punishment that was handed down. Again, punishment in quotes, because they're probably going to do wall sits anyway, so now it's wall sits with something fun incorporated. It is what it is. That's fine.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, combine that with the amount of, or lack thereof, the amount of like soft tissue injuries all football season. And I mean, the major injuries on the team were Tommy Hill with that foot issue, which there's nothing you can do with that, but
plantar fasciitis.
Yep, which sucks. I've only had it twice, but thankfully not since.
I wonder if that's the reason why he gained weight then.
It can linger, but
added
usually
weight,
that resolves
your joints and things.
Well, I'm just because he's not able to do cardio or whatever.
That's possible.
It's possible, but usually that resolves itself within a month or two. I mean, there are, I don't know his case offhand, but it can linger potentially, but usually it's a month or two that it resolves itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, you guys. Anything else? Yeah, what?
Nebraska women's basketball.
Go for it.
They won tonight. They beat Illinois. It was a back-and-forth game. At one point, Illinois had stormed back and had a lead after going on a 13-4 run. Nebraska ends up rallying in the fourth quarter, winning, I believe, 74-70 to advance in the Big Ten Women's Tournament. And they will take on, as the 10 seed, they will take on 2 seed UCLA tomorrow. That's going to be 5:30 Central, and that should be on the Big Ten Network. I say that because it's important for everybody to watch, because this will probably be the last game for Nebraska in the tournament.
Tell us again. Say it one more time.
5:30 Central, Big Ten Network, Nebraska women's basketball against UCLA.
Write it down.
Right there.
Central. Okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
That is.
Greg, I think we need to get you to do a TikTok.
Nope. You won't find me on TikTok. You won't find me on TikTok.
That you know of.
I mean, okay. I guess that's possible, but I'm not. I don't have the app. I don't use the app. I'm old. Okay. I'm a gentleman of a certain age, so if I can't find it on Facebook Reels, I don't need to find it.
Okay. Okay. Well, just today, my little Stella, who's only 11, she goes, "Mommy, can you put on the song Anxiety?" I'm like, "Anxiety? Never heard of that song." She goes, "Yeah, it's Do C." So I type it in, and she's like over there, she's doing these moves, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's do this. Show me." And she's like, "You're not like a regular mom. You're like a young mom." I got that as a compliment. It felt so good.
It's like Mean Girls. I'm not one of those regular moms. I'm one of those cool moms.
I am.
And no one in the chat has ever seen that movie.
I didn't even know. So I have That I have seen.
I've never heard the song. I've never heard of the artist. I don't think it's a real person. It's probably AI.
Yeah,
I'm not going to Google it because I don't want to throw off my algorithm. I don't want YouTube suggestions for bullshit music. I want good music in my YouTube suggestions. So
okay. Well, just keep listening to all the old stuff that you're used to. Don't try anything new ever, ever, ever.
You know what? The last time I tried something new, and he's in the Holger Maniacs. I'm sorry. What did I say? That's right. He's in the Holger Maniacs tonight. That's right, the Holger Maniacs, brother. I'm pretty sure the last quote-unquote new music that I was told about was 2011 from BFOTS Josh Hansen, who told me about a little band called Mumford & Sons. And so I think that was it. That was
Well,
the last
Plugged in
that's
at that
different.
point, those jerks.
What's that?
Said were they plugged in at that point?
No, they're acoustic. This is like Little Lion Man debut album stuff. So, from there I've expanded. I like the Abbott Brothers or Abbott Brothers, whatever it is. But I mean, music died decades ago.
Oh yeah, most of the stuff I listened to was made before I was born.
I saw that too. I was also going to highlight that comment. Fred says John's made an AI Greg on TikTok that does unspeakable things. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He has the technical know-how.
That would be fun.
AI Greg on TikTok probably says some really horrible things that would probably get real Greg fired. But luckily,
Okay, Greg.
yes, Minnie.
It's about time. It's 2 hours in. It's about time we wrap it up. Let these
Okay.
people go to their beds.
All right.
You guys, doesn't a hat hurt your head? Like, doesn't it put pressure on your head? No.
No, mine are actually incredibly. I bought this one way too big.
Oh,
I noticed it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed that you can just spin yours around. I can't do that. Mine,
Yeah, I bought this one when I think I had very long hair compared to right now, so it's
mine
very
would fit
easy.
better if I had a haircut, but I haven't got a haircut in a while.
Yeah, even this is loose, but I still don't like it on my head.
I'm sorry.
Most of the ones I buy now are the flex fit ones that are like stretchy, including the one that I bought. I forgot to bring up here.
Fred says, I gave up on music in 1997. Should have given up on Nebraska football. Fred, if you did, then none of us would know you because you wouldn't be here
Yes,
following
we
Nebraska
need you.
football and hanging out with us on Thursday nights. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't give up on Nebraska football. I'm glad you
too.
haven't given up on us, at least, unless you tune in every week to hate watch, which is fine, I guess. But Minnie, per your instructions.
He doesn't because he was on Monday Night Therapy 2 weeks ago, and he was fantastic talking about his fandom. It's great. I want more of those stories. Sorry, Greg. Okay.
It's okay. Should I close the show now, like you've asked me to do? Okay.
I have one more thing, very briefly. If you have ESPN Plus and you see track and field come up, the Huskers throwers are kicking ass this year. We had the Johansson girl that was in the Olympics that I think she won the last meet we were at down in Arkansas.
The
where we had,
Scandinavian, right?
Yep.
Yes.
We had like 4 of the top 6 throwers at that meet. But I love watching track and field, and ESPN Plus has stuff on there all the time for track and field. So if you ever see one where the Huskers are at, we're usually dominating all the throws, and it's fun to watch.
And if you're into tennis, Nebraska has, or Coronation has our very own tennis beat writer. So if you like Husker tennis, you can check out coronation.com. But if I can, all right. Fred says, close the show. I got to call it a night early morning tomorrow. Later, Bucks. Okay. All right. You want to take that one off so I can close the show? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nebraska fans of all ages, it has truly been an honor and a privilege to entertain you these last 2+ hours and make the very best of your Thursday night. For my co-host, co-panelist, and wonderful friend, Minnie Hunt, for our tremendous guest and Coronation contributor, Mr. Aaron Rostovsky, I'm Greg Mahochko. This has been Coronation's 5 Heart Podcast, and we remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
I can't believe you actually did it. We're leaving. Okay, go Big Red.
Aaron?
Bye, everybody.